have to be in words. It can even be a picture. It can be a pictorial depiction of what you feel, or even to say a person's name. I think when I think of confidence, this particular person comes into my head. So I ask you, I'll give you about a minute's time to jot down what confidence means to you. And like I said, it doesn't have to be in words. It can be a name. It can be an image. What is it? Okay, at least I hope you wrote it down. And my next question to you is, how many of us think we have confidence? Maybe we can start getting people to think about it. So these are some thought-provoking questions. And my question is, how many of us think we have confidence? Or how many of us wish we had more confidence? How many of us wished we had more? Oh, I see hands. Okay, great. Oshadi, you want to share some of your thoughts with us? Oshadi, Harshini, I see a lot of people, so you can share with us what you think.
I'm Umanga.
Hi, Umanga.
I think confidence is believing myself. If I'm taking decisions, if I do something, according to me, I think if I have confidence, I believe myself and do the thing that according to my heart.
Perfect. I think you hit the nail on the head. Very good answer. Thank you, Umanga, for that. Anyone else wants to give it a shot? And I think Umanga demonstrated confidence right there, right? He had the confidence to share with us what he believes is confidence. Any other answers coming in? Do I think I have confidence? I would say it can be very circumstantial sometimes, right? But yes, I do have confidence, but there are days that I feel less confident. There are days I'm very high-spirited and I feel very confident. Now, do I wish I had more confidence? A definite yes. I always feel like, oh, I wish I was more confident. I would see someone very charismatic, full of confidence walking past me, and I'm like, oh, I wish I had that level of confidence. And believe me, you can have that level of confidence, right? Because as much as talent, effort counts too, and confidence is something you can build. And it's about, again, self-belief. And keep this in mind. A lot of us say, "Oh, come with a lot of academic skills. You know, you're an undergraduate. You end up getting a lot of academic skills, knowledge when you graduate." But they also say that academic skills or qualifications without confidence cannot help you achieve success, right? So confidence is seen as one of the most important ingredients of success, right? Now let's see why. I'm also going to share another story that my dad shared with me yesterday. So when I was working on this presentation, he saw this image of a bird, and my whole objective of this bird was not to was to kind of give that feeling of flying with confidence, right? Even though I was looking for someone who would resonate certain attributes of an eagle, I didn't want to put an eagle there because I felt the eagle is very white and black and not so colorful. So I wanted to make my presentation very colorful as well. So I thought maybe a bird that gives the effect of an eagle would be perfect. And then he comes, and from far he sees this bird because he was not wearing his glasses as an eagle. And he says, that's a very pertinent choice for your presentation. And then I ask him why. And this is some interesting learning for me, because he says, how many of you knew that the eagle has a lifespan of about 70, 80 years? Did you know that? An eagle can live up to about 70 years. But when the eagle turns about 40 years, the eagle feels very weak, right? He loses his confidence to prey. What he does is that he goes to a mountain top, he retreats to a mountain top, and he starts working on himself. Right? He starts to slowly break his beak, right? He hammers it, he hits it, and slowly takes it off. And you can imagine what a painful process this is. But the eagle goes through this painful process, and the new beak grows. He waits till the new beak grows. Then he does the same with the claws. He starts removing the claws, and then he again waits till it heals and grows. Then finally the feathers. He takes the feathers off, and then what happens is a new eagle is basically born. It's the same eagle, but a new he gives birth to his old majestic self, full of confidence, ready to go for his prey. And I look at this experience as also an upskilling process, right? What did he do? He made himself new. He learned. He upskilled himself by taking his old beak away, his feathers, uh, his claws, and this is exactly what confidence is. Also, it is something you can build. It is something you can build, but with effort, right? So that's why I also thought of sharing this very interesting eagle story. Now I'm going to ask you in the next slide, Ravina, what confidence is, right? What is confidence, what it means, and how I have defined it, right? Now, a lot of times, self-confidence is sometimes mistaken with either self-esteem, confused with maybe self-efficacy. But now, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is how beautiful you feel, how good you feel about yourself, right? How intelligent you feel about yourself. And confidence is how sure you are of that judgment, right? Now, I can say, for example, I feel like I'm delivering this presentation well. But now Umayangana, because I'm sorry, I don't mean to pick on you, but you're the face that I see on my screen, ask me, are you really? Do you really think you're doing a great job? And then I'm just like, right? So self-esteem and confidence does not necessarily marry each other, right? So sometimes I feel I'm doing well, but if you challenge me, if you question me, are you really? I might think no, which means I have low confidence level. But the most important element is that both self-esteem and self-efficacy influences your level of confidence, right? And it also can be nurtured. That is the most important thing. Self-esteem and self-efficacy can be nurtured. Now, what is self-efficacy, right? Self-efficacy is the belief that he or she has the capacity to execute, to produce specific performance attainments. That is the definition on Google. If you Google what self-efficacy is, actually it's I think a researcher named Bandura who goes to explain what self-efficacy means, and he goes to say that an individual's belief in his or her capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific performance attainments is called self-efficacy, right? Now again, notice the belief. Now, when you have low self-efficacy, right, you think, okay, I can't do it, I might not be able to do it because I don't think I have the capacity. Say as a group of students, I'm sure you have presentations, especially when it comes to end of the year, you might have to do a lot of presentations with your teams, your professors. And one of you in the group might think, oh no, I don't speak well. Maybe I'm not very good at articulating myself. And you might have these thoughts working in your head, and you feel like, oh no, I don't have what it takes to execute, right? So you are someone with low self-efficacy, right? So what happens? You start avoiding. Now, say Rovina comes up to me, and I'm an introvert. I'm genuinely an introvert. You might not believe it, but I'm an introvert. And she says, Navini, there's a group of students. Would you like to speak to them on a particular topic? Introvert may be to say, it's a Saturday, I like to be in my shell. And sometimes I might even tell myself, because I have a low self-efficacy, to say, oh, I don't know, I might struggle when interacting with new people, talking to new people, I might not be able to connect, and I might avoid it. But I can be more mindful about it. What I'm trying to say, while self-efficacy and self-esteem can influence one another, you can also change it for the better. So I might say, okay, I don't do well with new interactions, but I can still say, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to challenge myself on a Saturday morning to speak to a new group of students, and I'm going to attack my low self-efficacy, and then I'm going to slowly start building my confidence and moving towards a high self-efficacy level, right? So, because it's about belief, right? So if you change your belief, you can achieve it. Now, Why do I say that confidence is a skill? It's a skill because it can be trained, right? No one has to be born with confidence. It is something you can acquire with effort and a little bit of mindfulness. And therefore, it is a skill. It's a set of positive beliefs. I can do it. I'm going to do it. And I will do it. It's a freedom from fear. A lot of times, what happens is society might tell you, your friends might tell you, your own inner voice might tell you, you're not good enough, you're going to fail, no way, not possible. So, but confidence is breaking away from those fears and turning your inner voice to a positive voice that will give you courage to build that confidence in you. It's a power and it's an art. Now, why do I say it's an art? Because it is the ultimate expression or application of human creative skill, right? That imagination. And the most important part is like you can't see someone who's confident and be like, oh, I'm going to copy that person. You can't. It has to come within you. That's why it's also an art. So, there are books on the art of confidence, etc. So, confidence is also an art. And this is, for me, one of the most powerful statements, right? You would also notice a lot of people talk about confidence. When Robina told me, okay, can you do a presentation on building self-confidence? I was like, okay, but I actually do not have a lot of time during the week. So last evening, when I sat at my laptop thinking, okay, I'm going to allocate some time to do some research on building self-confidence, something I came across was a lot of books, right? There are books on confidence for dummies, the confidence code, like the bro code or whatever. There's so many books on confidence, so many TED Talks to YouTube videos on confidence. So why do you think it attracts so many people to talk about it? Why do you think, if one person has addressed it so well, why do you think it still keeps attracting a lot of professors, researchers to see what confidence is all about? And how can we help people build this confidence? Because confidence is so important. If you talk to a lot of interviewers, they might say, what are one of the top 5 skills for you look for in or behaviors you look for in your candidate? They might say, I want someone who's confident, right? And if you look at some of the frameworks, we look at Unilever, Nestle, we have leadership frameworks defined, saying that these are some of the competencies, behavioral competencies we look for in our employees. And confidence is definitely one of those things, right? We always say we want people to have confidence. So why, right? Because we all can have dreams and aspirations. I can dream about becoming, someone famous, someone amazing. We can have these aspirations to say, oh, I'm going to be a millionaire. I'm going to be like Dhammika Pera. I'm going to be like Sangakkara. These are all dreams unless you convert these dreams into action. And that is what confidence is. Confidence is your ability to ask the right questions to turn the 1,000 rupee business to a $1 million business, right? Confidence is to ask the girl you love or propose to the girl you love, because if not, she would be with someone else, right? Confidence is to face an interview to land your dream job. So what is confidence? Confidence is the first requisite to great undertaking. So it is the action. It's a call for action. So now you see why so many people talk about self-confidence, why it is such a common topic spoken about, yet not so common, right? Because confidence is what converts a dream into action. It magnifies the thoughts and the feelings we have. Now, on a separate note, because I know I am supposed to leave something with you, when I was doing my research, I read about certain books. And some of the recommendations I can make is, if you feel like this is something I want to read more about, I urge you to read the book called 6 Pillars of Self-Esteem. This is a book written by Nathaniel Branden. Then there's also a book called The Magic of Thinking Big, and this is a book written by David Schwartz. You're a Badass by Jen Sincero. I hope I pronounced the name right. Now I'm coming to my favorite personality, and I'm sure some of you may have already come across him on YouTube. He's none other than Tony Robbins. He gets people like Oprah Winfrey to walk on fire. distinguished people to walk on fire and build confidence. Now you might think, why is Oprah Winfrey on a program of his? She exudes a lot of confidence. No, but she still went. You can better yourself. And one of the books recommended, written by him, authored by him, is called The Awaken the Giant Within. So this is also another book that came across in the must reads on building confidence. So if you feel like this is something you want to go learn more about, please feel free to do that. I'm going to share some of the tips that can help you build that confidence in you. So I have 5 tips lined up for you, and let's see what these 5 tips are. All right, now how many of you would recognize some of these people? At least one of the two. How many of you would recognize at least one of the two images I have up on my screen? Now, the first lady that I have picked her name is Jill Bolte Taylor, right? And she's a brain researcher who suffered a stroke, right? And I encourage you to actually watch her video. It's on TED Talk, but if you can't find it, it's also one of the articles reviewed by Harvard Business Review. So it's pretty interesting, and I encourage you to read about her. So she suffered a stroke, and she was asked by TEDx to deliver a talk. And what is interesting about her, and why they have picked her especially to write about, is that she not only practiced by herself 100 times, over 100 times, but she also went on to deliver this with dozen other audiences before the big day. So that's how much practice she did to deliver her A game at that particular talk. You might think, okay, she's a Harvard graduate, she has invested probably over 20 years researching about the brain, and this is her pet subject. She knows it all, but she still practiced. If I might think, okay, I have this qualifications with me, this is my pet subject, I don't need to practice, I can go and deliver. I might not be able to deliver with that level of confidence because I don't have the practice. So look at how, even she being the spokesperson for the Harvard Brain Tissue Resource Center, she still practiced 1,000,000 times before going and delivering her presentation to that audience, right? So you not only need knowledge, but you also need practice, preparation, due diligence need to be done before you go and deliver any presentation or before you do anything. And that is a tip to building confidence. They say pressure builds diamonds. Pressure builds diamonds. Do diamonds just appear? No, right? So always keep in mind effort, hard work need to be put if you want to create a diamond in you. And I know all of you have the potential to be a diamond, but always know that there's some amount of effort that needs to go into it. Now, Lionel Messi. I think, I mean, it's not fair for me to make certain preconceived notions and judgments about you, but I think it was Lionel Messi that most of you recognized because he's a more famous personality. Now, what's interesting about Lionel Messi is that when Diego Maradona spotted him, and now look, I'm no football fan. All I know about football is what I experienced in college because I studied abroad. As a result, I got some exposure to these sports, and also because my brother is a huge avid fan of football, especially Barcelona, which is the team that Lionel Messi plays for. Now, and he's an Argentinian player. So when Maradona, who's also an Argentinian player, spotted him, he said, "Oh my gosh, finally, this guy's potential is limitless." Someone might have potential. When my boss sees me, it might say, "Oh, Navini has potential." But what is the use if you don't do that hard work, if you don't create that diamond in you with effort? So, an interesting fact is, we see certain successful people and we might always make certain judgments saying, "Oh, it's so easy. They're millionaires. They're being paid well. They're this, they're that." But the truth is, no, they worked really hard. Now, Lionel Messi says, "It took me 17 years and 114 days to become an overnight success." Overnight success does not happen, huh? So how many years? 17 years and 114 days to become an overnight success. That is how long it took Lionel Messi. So that's why I'm saying, guys, practice, repetition. These are really important. You have a presentation tomorrow. I know a lot of us think, okay, we are stress resilient. We can sit today, do a presentation, go and show it to the professor, and still might get like, you might pass. That's fine. But have you created a better version in you? Have you put that effort to evolve and grow? So always make sure confidence also comes with that effort, right? It's a practice, it is a repetition. Now, his father was a steel worker and a mother a cleaner, and he also had a growth hormone deficiency. Did you know that? A growth hormone deficiency. He might think, no, the world is collapsing in front of me. I am no good. I have a growth hormone deficiency. How can I play how can I play any sport, do anything? No, but he practiced, and with that practice, with that repetition, he goes and conquers his field. He's the best in his field. He's mastered his skill, right? So don't ever take things for granted. Always practice, and that gives you confidence. Now imagine you're going for a presentation tomorrow to your university. Imagine you do a dry run alone, maybe a couple of dry runs by yourself, and then you go and maybe, I don't know, maybe if you're at home, you go to your parents and say, hey, can you listen to your siblings? Hey, can you see me do this? Now you're going to be nervous because you're going to speak in front of someone else, but you're going to come out of it because you've practiced. Then you speak to, I mean, if you are living with other students, then you can try these practice sessions with other students so that you can improve. And then when you finally go to your presentation, you're ready because you've done that due diligence, you've prepared yourself, you've practiced, and you've repeated yourself. So things will come in more naturally for you. And that is confidence. Second tip, so like I said, positive affirmations because thoughts influence actions, right? Remember, I am the captain of my ship and the master of my fate. Now, if you look at the first person, he's none other than Muhammad Ali, right? He's Muhammad Ali. And what is his mantra to himself? I am the greatest. So imagine you go to the boxing ring and you keep punching your strokes, saying, I am the greatest, I'm the greatest. Just try it right now at your seat. Just punch saying, I'm the greatest, I'm the greatest. Imagine that power that comes, that manifests in front of you, right? You feel immense power the moment you think, I am the greatest. And when you punch with that, you go ahead with that attitude, that thinking, naturally there's more strength, more power in your actions. So positive affirmation is very critical in building self-confidence. The moment you think, can anyone think like this, slouch and say, I'm confident? No, it's not very congruent with your body language. So confidence comes with positive affirmations. And the positive affirmations actually has a psychological effect in even changing your body language, your tone, your behavior, right? Now look at Shah Rukh Khan. My mom is a huge fan of Shah Rukh Khan. I know you guys are so young and some of you might not even like Shah Rukh Khan. Maybe you have other, idols, but it's fine. My story to share on Shah Rukh Khan is that I watched a lot of shows growing up because my mom was a huge fan. So she would watch Coffee with Karan and even go on YouTube. And one thing interesting about this man is that he always says, I am a king living a king-size dream. I am a king living a king-size dream. Now, again, look at this, okay? Can you say I'm a king like this? No. Naturally, when you say I'm a king living a king-size dream, that's I don't know, I think the universe is attracting that energy that you never thought existed, right? So I'm a king living a king-size dream. I'm King Khan. I'm King Khan. In every interview, he calls himself the king. Now imagine, look at this positive affirmations and how it changed his life. So he was just an ordinary actor, and he expanded himself to go into buying one of the cricket leagues in India, the IPL leagues. Then he was also invited by many institutes like Yale, Harvard, Cambridge to deliver speeches. So look at his positive affirmation and its impact on his life, right? Now, the moment you have these positive affirmations, your tone, your body language, all of this changes, right? Just try doing this. Just tell yourself, I am great. You don't have to unmute yourself, but you can say, I am great. I am an achiever. I'm a young achiever. Look at look at how much change it brings into you. Just saying that, believing in it, and you're building confidence in yourself, right? So if you're going for a presentation, always tell yourself, I am going to deliver my A game. I'm going to come out of this presentation with an A plus, right? Or with 90 marks. I'm gonna add value today. I'm gonna be the best student in the class. I'm gonna speak up. I'm gonna share the knowledge I know. I'm gonna help someone else. So these positive affirmations are really important in building that inner confidence in you. Now over to the next slide, which is about visualizing the end, right? When you visualize your desired outcome, you begin to see the possibility of achieving it. Have you ever thought of it? Now I'm going to ask all of you to close your eyes, and I'm going to bring an example because I know I was also a student many years ago, just like you. And one of the fears I had was, will I ever be able to deliver presentations well? And also I studied abroad. So and English is not my first language, right? Sinhala is my first language. So sometimes your accent is a little different. So you have fear. Oh my gosh, will they laugh at my accent? But one thing is for sure, if you're ready, if you have the knowledge, so don't ever take knowledge for granted. I'm not saying you should not invest on knowledge and work on confidence. It has to be married. It has to complement each other. But once you have the knowledge, how you can build confidence. Say you're going in for a presentation. I ask all of you to close your eyes. I'm also going to close my eyes along with you. And just imagine yourself, right? Now you finishing the presentation, delivering an amazing presentation, and your professors or your lecturers congratulating you, saying, "Oh my gosh, amazing, great job done," and the students that you delivered this presentation to, giving you a standing ovation. Now I want you to picture this image. You have delivered an amazing presentation. Your professors are like, "Wow, great job," congratulating you. Your team is like, "Wow, thanks, you really carried the weight. You definitely did an amazing job." The audience with you is congratulating you. They're giving you a standing ovation. And imagine you walk down that aisle feeling that sense of pride, that sense of achievement. That is exactly the person. Now when you see the person at the end of that aisle, you see a person that exudes confidence because the person believed he can and did he or she delivered an amazing presentation. And that person exudes happiness and radiance, right? So you would bring that person that you see at the end to the beginning of that presentation, and there you are, full of confidence, ready to do your presentation, right? So always, the moment you walk onto a stage, you will hear all these voices. Will I get stuck for words? Will I be looking for words? Will I not be able to connect with the audience? Blah, blah, blah. All of these thoughts are coming into your head. What you need to do is close your eyes for a few minutes, practice mindfulness, and practice yourself doing your best, delivering your A game, and imagine that successful person you see at the end, and bring that person to the beginning of the session, and you feel alive, you feel very confident, and you're ready to do an amazing job. So the body language, the tone, all of that will change because you see a successful person, you visualize a successful person, right? So always keep in mind, when it comes to confidence, your body language, your tone is really important. So don't slouch, don't let your voice drop, have the right modulation. There are actually YouTube videos. So if you're going for a presentation, there are videos to talk about tone modulation, and I request you to go through them. There are certain exercises, like, I'm not going to do it now, but there are certain exercises even to train your voice, right, that will help you with that tone and modulation at the presentation. So these are some of the things that you can do. So the third tip was to visualize the end so that you can bring that confident person to the beginning. And the fourth tip is get out of your comfort zone. The magic happens outside of your comfort zone. So I urge all of you, you're very young, full of potential, like I said. Get out of your comfort zone. This is not the age to be in your comfort zone. Recently I attended a webinar. So you can see how I also get out of my comfort zone, learn new skills, learn new knowledge. And this particular speaker was talking about three voices, right? Three zones. You have the easy voice. Easy voice is when you're in your comfort zone, right? You speak to the same people, you do the same things every day. That's your easy voice. Remember, where there's easy voice, magic doesn't happen. Now you come out of that easy voice to a discomfort voice. Discomfort voice is, okay, you might go talk to a new person. So for example, I was having lunch with a group of friends, but tomorrow I go have lunch with a different group of friends, right? It's a little discomforting because you're getting out of your comfort zone, but you're making new networks, you're making new friends, and there's also an impact on emotional intelligence. I'll talk about it later, right? And you're getting out of this comfort zone and you're building new relationships, and you're unconsciously building a lot of confidence in you. So I urge all of you, for the next 21 days, they say when you do things 21 days in a row, it becomes a habit. Challenge yourself to do something that you haven't done before. So try doing new things. This is not the time to travel, so don't travel too much these days. But whenever things turn better, traveling also helps you meet new people, strike up new conversations. Since I'm an introvert, sometimes my inner voice tells me, oh my gosh, I really don't know what to say. Should I talk? I'm just going to be quiet, look down. But if I want to boost self-confidence in me, I'm going to say, no, I'm going to go strike up a conversation. What bad can happen? So I'll be like, hey, my name is Navini. Nice to meet you. Where do you come from? And just strike up a general conversation. You learn about different interests people have, right? And why I say it's also important because it builds emotional intelligence. Now, how does it build emotional intelligence? Emotional intelligence is one, being aware of your emotions and being able to take control and manage those emotions within you. Two is also being aware of other people's emotions and being able to manage those emotions. So if you're only interacting with the same group of people, you're not challenging yourself. And in new situations, you're gonna struggle. You're gonna be like, oh, what am I gonna do? And your self-confidence crumbles. I forgot to say this too, but when I look at self-confidence, and this is not just me, this is also looking at some of the research that I did yesterday on self-confidence. Some people look at self-confidence as a balloon, right? So, but what happens is either it can balloon or it can deflate. Like some air in the balloon can come out. So that's what confidence is. So what happens is, if you challenge yourself, if you take courage to do new things, challenge yourself, unknowingly you're building your confidence because you're becoming more resilient to new situations. If otherwise you would have lost a little bit of that air, you would have deflated because you're going to struggle, right? So always work on ballooning your self-confidence as opposed to allowing it to deflate. So try new things, get out of your easy voice, get out of your comfort zone, and challenge yourself. So if you were that student in that group who refused to do presentations because you felt that, oh, I can't talk well, my language is not the best, next time you tell your group, I'm also going to present along with the rest of the team. I'm going to do it. And you might not see success overnight. Like I said, you might have a few downs. That's okay. But it's that effort that's going to ultimately result in that success. Remember what Lionel Messi said. It took me 17 years and 114 days to achieve this overnight success. So you also need to keep trying, put effort, get out of the comfort zone, and do new things. I always urge young students like you to be part of other associations. Like, I don't know, maybe there are other groups, associations within your universities. I know when I was in school, we had the Model United Nations. So there are different associations and clubs that you can be a part of. And I encourage you to be a part of these clubs. And another thing you need to do, and which is the fifth one and the last one I'm going to talk about, turn criticism to opportunity, right? In this world, there are a lot of people to bring you down. But the sad thing is, you allow it too. Eleanor Roosevelt says, no one can make you inferior without your consent. So don't give. So someone might say you suck. This is what people tell you. But are you going to believe that? Then it's your fault. You should never. I think criticism is an opportunity. Because I think criticism is also feedback to you. So if someone says you can't, you have to ask the question why, right? Is it because I lack a particular competence or a skill? But did you know skills and competencies can be acquired? So you should never think of criticism as, oh my gosh, yeah, he's right or she's right, I can't do it. No. Criticism is feedback for you to improve. It is actually pushing you to a growth stage, right? And criticism is also for you to reflect how much of it is true. Again, I was watching a TED talk on confidence, and this guy was talking about his little kid who plays football. I know I speak a lot about football, but this little kid, apparently he and his wife had gone to watch the little kid play, and he saw him playing a little bit. And after the game, the dad was like, how do you feel? He's like, oh my gosh, Dad, I scored 3 goals. He didn't score any of those goals. It was the team that scored. But he said, I scored those 3 goals. And the dad is like, I love this confidence, right? He did not even attempt to score a goal, but he believed that he did, right? So whenever you get feedback, always define it in your own way. Look at it in your lens, right? Obviously for growth, because why I say that is because feedback is very important, because it also highlights your areas of improvement, and you need to improve, because otherwise, I have another quote from Lionel Messi, because it says, I have many years to get better and better, and that has to be my ambition. But the day you think there is no improvement to be made, it is a sad day for any player. So the moment that you think there is no improvement for you, it's like committing suicide. It's like you just killed yourself. You killed all potential in you. So you always have to think, I'm going to get better and better. And this criticism is a feedback, but that criticism should not destroy you, but it should be the weapon for you to conquer that world, for you to conquer your dreams. So please keep it in mind. And don't be afraid to fail. Look at Thomas Alva Edison. He tried to do to create the bulb and failed many a times. And his statement is to say, his quote is, I have not failed, I just found 10,000 ways that don't work. If you look at J.K. Rowling, the lady who authored Harry Potter, after she got her book, she went to 12 publishers trying to sell her book, but none of those publishers were willing to buy the book. And if it happened to us, we'll go to 1 or 2 interviews and we say, oh, I did not get any of the jobs, I think I should give up, I should look at a different avenue, whatever. And we give up, we give all hope, our self-confidence just drops. But that is not it. I think it's about going after it, setting yourself a target and achieving it. And believe me, failures are the pillars of success. There is no person, you look at a Dhammika Pera, you look at a Sanghakara, you look at a Muralidharan. Muralidharan was suspended for 2 years. All these successful people never let their confidence down. They only came back stronger. So there's no successful person without failure. So you have to embrace failure. You have to embrace vulnerability. You should know that, okay, these are not my strengths. These are my areas of improvement. But you embrace it and you learn how to work with it, right? That is how you can build self-confidence in you. And my last slide to leave you with is that confidence in yourself is built through act of everyday courage. That's why I always said, come out of your comfort zone. I think, guys, it's amazing that you are even here today, right? So you've taken certain steps to build a better version of you, and that's what's important. So come out of it every day, have that courage to take certain steps that will help you build your best version. And all of you have what it takes, right? But don't get complacent, don't get comfortable. Always fight such emotions or attitudes. If you're feeling too complacent, oh yeah, I feel great. No, there's opportunity, and there's room for greatness, right? I feel good, there's opportunity for greatness, um, and becoming better every day. So yeah, and that is all from my side. I know all of you are very capable young talent. Definitely, you probably have a lot of confidence already in you. And one other thing is, when people criticize you, one small note I like to leave you. All of you, as some homework today after this call, you write down the things you have achieved, right? I'm speaking to 205 young individuals who have achieved and accomplished so much. As it is, you're in the top university in Sri Lanka. That is an achievement. So there's no reason for anyone to put you down to say, oh, you're not smart, you're not capable. So you already should have that basic level of confidence, because you made it, you've jumped some of those hurdles that a lot of others may have not been able to, right? So you've already, so write a few positive things, things that you've achieved and things you like to achieve. So like I said, confidence is how you can turn those dreams into action. That courage inside you that can turn dreams into action. So the moment you remind yourself about, wow, these are some of the great things that I've achieved, but these are also some of the great things that I need to achieve. When people put you down and you look at this piece of paper, you will have reasons to move forward. So you're not going to let those, either your negative inner voice or other voices that's coming from the outside to pull you down, distract you from achieving your dream. So always keep that piece of paper with you and read it. I'm a young achiever. I've done so much, and there's so much more I can do, and I'm going to do it. So have those positive affirmations, and that's all from my side. If you have questions, feel free to ask. If you'd like to know about Nestle, you can ask questions about Nestle. I'm happy to share some of my experiences with you, anything whatsoever.
Yes, dear madam,
Yes.
can you share your own experience? How can you face your problems in day-to-day life in industrial level? When we are as university students, we don't have much experience in the industry, but we all know we have to face a lot of difficulties and some challenges in the industry, and we have to take some sort of decisions according to the situation. Can you explain those situations, and how do you improve your self-confidence to take the correct decision? And madam, I have another question. If we are confident on ourselves, but sometimes our decisions may not correct. If we take a wrong decision, how can we overcome that? How can we correct it? Thank you, madam.
Okay, Umanga, right? That it was two very interesting questions. Okay, look, I don't like to segregate so much, saying, okay, life is full of challenges. That's how I look at it, right? Whether it be in industry, whether it be in the university, but all of these experiences and challenges shape our thinking. So whatever the explicit, because at the end of the day, a challenge is, for how I look at it. So either you have a challenge within you to say, okay, do I have the ability to do it, or it could be that the challenge is outside, it's external. So it can be internal challenge or an external challenge, right? So what you really need to know is that you understand what the problem of the challenge is, whether it be in industry or whether it be in the in university, and you see how you can face it. So I don't think of challenges as something that you can't overcome, right? It's challenges are life experiences, right? So for example, a challenge in an office may be sometimes the deadlines you have, But with time and experience, you learn and you watch others. I also did a session on role models. So you learn by looking at others, how people work, and then you manage time. Maybe sometimes it's managing your boss, right? That can be a challenge. But again, that goes back to emotional intelligence, right? How I think a lot of challenges is all about mindset and your frame of mind. I don't look at challenge as it's different from an industry to university, because at the end of the day, it's the mind and how willing you are to face it. So it comes back to emotional intelligence. Like I said, you managing your boss, being aware of the emotions and how you can manage this person. So you come across different. For me, actually, looking at my experience, I personalize it a little bit. I joined Nestle at the age of 24, and some of the challenges I came across was that also that I was a foreign graduate, and I also went up the career ladder very fast because I'm very hardworking. I mean, some people might not see this, but I'm very committed to what I do. And sometimes people might call you, or you are progressing because your boss's pet, or there'll be people to bring you down. But at the end of the day, if you perform and you're performing consistently, none of those challenges matter. It's about being confident, knowing that, okay, if I'm achieving something, you can always have that self-reflection. Am I doing right? Where do I need to improve? You speak to people, you seek feedback. And then what other people think or say doesn't matter. Because, as I said, a lot of challenges you have to figure out whether it's internal or external. And a lot of things comes back to being internal because it's about how you manage them. So it's about your frame of mind and how you face it. Right now, some people, when COVID happened, might have said, oh my gosh, businesses are going to collapse. But look at Nestle, right? Look at individuals. Some individuals went into creating some of the most amazing inventions, right? That also goes to say mindset and how you look at a problem. So I think a lot of times challenges are very, very individual specific and how you look at it. And when you ask me about difficulties in office, I can't even think of something as a difficulty, because it's certain milestones you go through that shapes your experiences, and you learn how to face them. It's a learning experience. For me, challenge is a learning experience, and I would never look at it as a difficult place to survive. Obviously, you need certain skills, like you need to be flexible, you need to have confidence and courage. So these are some of the things that behaviors you'll need to succeed, but none of it is actually a challenge per se. It's how you look at it. It's your mindset, your thinking that matters. And the second question you asked was about what was the second question, Umanga, again?
Sometimes when we taking decisions, they might be wrong. If we took some sort of decision, what is the next step that we can do to overcome them?
Yeah, very good question. See, it's okay. Like I said, failures are the pillars to success, right?
Yeah.
Now, I read it somewhere, but I don't know if I'll quote in the exact words. But the quote says something about learning, right? So if you make a mistake but you repeat it, now then you're stupid. But if you make a mistake and you learn from it, you become wiser, because you gain experience, right?
Yeah.
So that is the most important thing. And don't ever think, look at everyone, look at all of us today. Have we only made right decisions up to now? Can any one of us say, yeah, I've only made right decisions, I've not made a single bad decision? Can we say that confidently? No. All of us may have made wrong decisions. Sometimes you might have gone to a restaurant and you looked at a fancy name and said, I'm going to order it, but it must have tasted horrible. That's a bad decision. I'm just saying it in simple terms, right?
Yeah.
So all of us have made bad decisions, and we're all capable of making bad decisions. That doesn't mean that you lose your confidence. That means that you build the mindset to say that, okay, I learned from this. Now I know what not to do. So look at Thomas Alva Edison's message again. 10,000 ways not to do what not to do, right? He did not take it as as something that took him backwards. He looked at it as, I know now 10,000 things not to do. So see me, it's just like that. I think we all as humans are capable of mistakes. We have to be humble to accept that, okay, maybe I've made a wrong decision, but most importantly, learn from it, because those learnings will define your success. Any other questions?
Yes, madam.
Hi, Sahan. I think it's Sahan, right?
Yeah. My question is, people like us come to the industry after 24 years or 25 years. How can we overcome that problem?
That's okay. Do you know, yesterday we were having a call with India on a regional call, and something very interesting came up. Their interns are interns who actually finished MBA. So their internship program is not just for undergrad. It's not for those with the first degree, but it's also those with an MBA. So which means naturally they can be a little older. You know what matters is that during your college time, you acquire new skills. You be part of different organizations, associations, and you see how you're adding value. And you also try and see whether you can do an internship or two. Now, when I was in college, every summer vacation, I did an internship. That was something that I was sure about, and my university was very strict about it too. If you look at my master's program, it had an embedded externship program where I had to go to two different companies and work. So these are some of the things that you can do. There's nothing, age is just a number. Like I always say, it's about, I mean, you're not the only one who is coming out at the age of 24, 23. A lot of you will be the same age. But, don't worry about the age. Look at the experiences and the knowledge you have acquired. Look at the behaviors you have nurtured. Have I nurtured the right behaviors? Look at the difference you've tried to make, right? Whether it in your class, whether it be in your group. So keep adding value to yourself, and that is what matters.
Thank you, madam.
No worries. Age is just a number. I would not even look at age. And everybody has their journey, right? I mean, there's no rule to say, okay, by this particular age you have to be successful, or this particular age you have to have this. There's nothing like that. You have to pave your own path, and you have to do what's right for you and what feels right for you, and you have to define your own success. Don't let the world or the community, the society define that for you. You have to define it. You have to take action and do what's right.
Madam, may I ask a question
Sure.
from you?
Yes, of course. And you can call me Navini, Yeah.
I don't know whether this question is honest to be done or not.
There's no stupid questions. No stupid questions.
When we are working with our level of confidence, sometimes that may not in a right way. May become a harmful thing. If I call that as overconfident, what is your idea about overconfident?
Okay, so you have to ask the question. Okay, so what happens with overconfidence is that, okay, you're right. So there's a difference between being confident and overconfidence, and sometimes taking certain decisions. Being overconfident can result in can become bad decisions, right? Can result in bad outcomes.
Yeah.
Now, when you say that, how I look at it is that I rather be a little overconfident than without confidence. But what happens is when you're overconfident, you will also learn, right? It's a learning opportunity. And I also encourage you to think of some ways to seek feedback. Now, if you feel like you're overconfident, that means you're aware of it. Then you have to step back and think, okay, where am I going wrong? So always self-reflection is the starting point for all of us, right? If you feel like, okay, this is a place now every time I speak to Robina or my colleagues, sometimes I say after the meeting I seek feedback. So sometimes they might say, Navini, I think you are wrong here. You are going after your decision. So that could have been my overconfidence that was playing up. Overconfidence also sometimes leads to certain bad decisions in not preparing. Now, for example, I'm coming for this session, say I am eloquent or I can talk a little. I might think, oh, I don't need to practice, I can come and deliver. So what happens at the end, I see, okay, my outcome is not what I expected. So that there is a learning coming from that, if you get what I mean. So naturally, with that self-reflection, with feedback, you can change it. You can change overconfidence to becoming confident enough, right? But I would say, don't ever push her down to not having any confidence. Always try and strive for more confidence than no confidence. But when you know you're overconfident, seek feedback, see the outcomes of your actions, your decisions, and see how you can change it for the better. If I answered your correct, I hope I answered your question.
Thank you, madam.
Yeah. So it's about, for me, it's about always reflecting on my actions. Like I said, confidence is not something consistent. You have ups, lows, downs, but always try and have more confidence than not, but seek feedback to improve those areas that you need to improve. I think we have a very confident audience as well, because a lot of questions are coming through. So that's great. Any other questions?
Ms. Navini, I would like to ask a question that in your story you said that you have studied in abroad, and then definitely it becomes the out of the comfort zone in language or culture or whatever. We become second citizen there. So how did you comply with that?
Okay, I don't know. There's this concept called, it's done by Carol Dweck, and I keep talking about this. This is called growth mindset, and I don't ever look at myself as a second citizen. Wherever I am, whether I be in the US or the UK, I never look at myself as because that's again putting yourself. You're creating that image about yourself, and you're putting yourself low. No one's looking at me as a second citizen unless I give them permission. Remember the words of Roosevelt I talked about. No one can put you down unless you give them permission. So I thought I am the diversity in this group. I'm the different, the exotic human being to a community where everyone's either white or black. And I think it shapes you in so many ways, because you learn a different culture. You talk to people who are not your own, but then you learn, because that's why I said, you learn about emotional intelligence. You see how different people have been influenced and their thinking, and then you learn how can you manage those thinking. Now, I remember I had a white roommate, and I lived in Midwest, right? So when she took me to her home for the first Christmas, she said, my dad's a little racist, so watch out. But he ended up loving me, so I think these are all experiences, and I always look at it thinking as opportunities to grow, opportunities to sometimes accelerate growth, because when you're in those new situations, actually there's an acceleration in growth, right? So you learn faster, and for me, that's how I looked at it. I think it's like this. You can be a second citizen even in your own country if you choose to be. You can become the first citizen in an unknown country if you choose to be. And I believe that if I'm the one who can bring about that change, I can make a positive impact, and I have ideals, dreams, and what I do is, with my confidence, I turn those dreams into action. And I think emotional intelligence, a lot of things like understanding different personalities, understanding different groups of individuals really help in making those positive impacts. I hope I answered your question.
That's great. Thank you so much.
No worries. Any other questions?
Madam, can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. So I have that when we are doing something, we have that confidence, and I think that I can do that. But when we are going to do that thing at the very first point, that for me, I'm getting very I'm very fear to do that. So are there any tips to overcome those things? I mean,
That's why I said, it's great that, see, you are confident, right? You just asked a question. And, I think you should not be so harsh on yourself. That is the first thing. Don't be too critical about yourself. And control your inner voice. And how you can control your inner voice, like I said, is close your eyes. So you have to figure out what you want to do, whether it's a presentation, whether it's striking up a conversation with a stranger, whatever it is you want to do. You just imagine the last bit of it, where you were successful, you formed a strong friendship or relationship, or you delivered the best presentation ever, and that person, who is being congratulated by the professors, who is being congratulated by the teammates, who is being congratulated by the audience. You imagine that person who is receiving all of these positive vibes, this standing ovation, and then you create that person right before the session. That's what you need to do. So always think of positive affirmations and say, I'm going to do it. I can do it. I can do it. And when you keep saying these things too, I'm great. Write it when every day you wake up. This is something I read it even in the book called The Secret, which is a very interesting book. You should read it if you're interested. So it's about how we attract a lot of energies from the universe, right? And if we keep thinking positive things, we're naturally attracting a lot of positive things towards us from the universe. And so that's why I say, keep saying, I am great, I am capable, I am young, I'm a young achiever, I am a graduate of Jayawardhanapura University, which is not an easy achievement, and I've achieved it. So remind yourself and keep achieving them. I think it's all about positive affirmations and visualizing the end, so that you can be that person from the very beginning itself.
Thank you, madam.
No worries, Oshadi. Any other questions?
Hi, my problem is, ma'am, sometimes I feel I'm really good in using language. I'm good in using English. Same time, I feel language is a big barrier for me. It's pull down my confidence when I do something with my colleagues. So how can I overcome this kind of?
Okay, your question is clear, Piri. Okay, so the truth is, for all of us in this room, English is not our first language, right? Sinhala is our mother tongue. And vulnerability is fine. I don't have to be, if you look at Nestle, we are a Swiss company. And so a lot of the leaders at the top deliver just inspirational speeches, but for none of them is English their mother tongue. Okay? And they deliver amazing speeches. Now, what is it? It's about accepting, okay, it's not my mother tongue. What do I need to focus on is my communication. What is it that I need to say? Right? So don't care about, I know I went to bishops and ladies, and sometimes your pronunciation, the way you, enunciate certain words is so important, but it doesn't really matter in the corporate world. What matters is that you can effectively communicate. And your message and your rational thinking, your logical thinking is strong. Look at some of these leaders. I urge you to go check on Peter Brabeck. He's now the chairman of Nestle Global, and English is his mother tongue. But look how he builds the structure of his presentation. It's on logical and rational thinking. So your focus should not be on language. Your focus should be on what you need to say and how that what you're saying is adding value. Right? So don't always confuse this language, the importance of language. A lot of leaders, unless you come from a country where English is the mother tongue, English is not necessarily the mother tongue. But what they focus on is their analytical, rational, and logical thinking, and how they communicate that effectively so that the message is very powerful. And the next thing you do is, now say you feel like, okay, I may not be the best. Now this is something you can, I'm sharing as a tip. You can be a part of Toastmasters, because this improves your speaking skills, right? So you can join the Toastmasters club. You can go in front of a mirror and talk to yourself, right? And this is nothing for you to be embarrassed of, right? Maybe you can pretend like you're being interviewed, or someone's talking to you, and just see how you structure your thoughts, articulate your message. So these are some of the things you can do on your own to improve that. If you feel like when I'm in a group, I feel like I don't have confidence. So that may be because, okay, self-esteem is there because you feel I am good in my language. So self-esteem is there, but somewhere down, I think you lack self-efficacy, right? Putting it to action, that then is translated into confidence. So that's why I'm saying try and get out of your comfort zone, join Toastmasters, join maybe other associations, practice speaking all by yourself, watch certain YouTube videos on delivering effective speeches or on effective communication, and learn about it. And with time, you'll definitely master it. And don't ever think language is important. I mean, of course, language is important because it's about bettering ourselves. But language should not be a block for your success. That is something I'll always tell anyone, work on your messaging, work on rational and logical thinking. And that is what is most important.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, ma'am. I agree.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay.
Hello, ma'am. When we gonna do some important things, some of people who are very close to us may something bad on those things we are gonna do. In that case, we feel so uncomfortable to do those things. So how can we face that kind of situation? I mean, because they are very close. I mean, they can be our family members or close friends.
Okay, Kima, my thing is again, okay, if it's parents, I have a lot of respect for my parents, and I'll always wonder why they say I can't or share some negative thoughts about something I'm about to do. So there should be a rational reasoning, and also depending, because you talked about people you're close, so I don't know who you're referring to. If it's a friend or a sibling, I don't know. If it's parents, I usually give them a lot of respect because they see certain things that I don't see. But if it's just to say, but you'd also ask the question, why are they saying it? Is it because they want to put you down? Now that's why I said you should never give permission to anyone to put you down, right? You are the master or the captain of your ship, the master of your fate. This is something that Nelson Mandela says as well, but I think it's a very old proverb. So you have to figure out why are they saying it. And a lot of times, don't get me wrong, we are not, many of us encourage other people to succeed. We are ready to criticize, but we are not ready to help them grow. So you should never let someone define that for you then. You should take action. You should say, okay, what is it that I'm trying to do? And why am I trying to do it? What would be the end result? And would the end result make me happy? So if it's going to make you happy and you see positive outcomes, you should not let anyone's voices stop you, because at the end of the day, if what you're going to do is making you great, don't let anyone block that greatness in you. That is my story. So of course, I'm not saying you should disregard everything that other people say, because that could be an important feedback for you. And also ask the question, who is saying this? Because if it's a parent, I don't know, then I don't want to challenge that. But if it's anyone else, you can always take courage and always see. Now also understand, parents' experiences have been limited sometimes. So say you want to become an entrepreneur and someone says don't do it. You still can carry on, but you'll have to know that you can expect certain failures and people are going to even laugh even more then. But with those failures, at some point will come success if you have persistence and resilience and the confidence in you. So those are very important ingredients to your success.
Thank you, ma'am. I got it.
No
Okay,
problem.
so we can wind up our session now, I think.
All right. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak to some of the promising talent youth in this country. It's a great honor. I have to thank the faculty, so Dr. Sudat, who is already on the call. And I also want to thank Rovina too for giving me an opportunity to speak to some of the amazing young talent. I look forward to seeing you conquering your dreams with confidence, and all the best to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It is a pleasure to thank everyone who are joining us to witness the first ever virtual meeting of Career Skills Development Society today. As you are aware, Career Skills Development Society always guides you to bounce high in your career path through enhancing your skills and abilities. Therefore, carrying this ultimate goal, we organized a workshop in order to build your confidence to make it easier for you to pave path towards achieve your goals in the future. First and foremost, I would like to thank our guest speaker for this morning, Ms. Nadini Jaisinghe. I think you all like to know about our keynote speaker. After this session, I realized she is a very talented lady I have seen. Talking about this outstanding personality, she is currently working as the Senior Manager of People Development Division at Nestle Lanka. She completed her BA in Marketing at the Truman University of United States at her MSc in Human Resource Management at the University of Manchester. Also, she believes strongly in the learning and often encourage her team as well. Heading the people development strategy for the company, she oversees employer branding and loves engaging and sharing the experiences and learning with the youth of today. She has been with Nestle for last 6 years and has grown quickly up the ladder. She is one of the youngest senior managers in Nestle. Am I correct?
Thank you for that introduction. I think this is all Robina's work. She always puts me on the spot like this. So thank you.
Thank you, madam, for spending your
Thank you
immensely
so much.
valuable time and sharing your knowledge with all of us. You have definitely enlightened us with your in-depth knowledge. It also a pleasure to extend our heartfelt gratitude to you, Ms. Rovina Vandase, Assistant Manager, People Development, Human Resources, Nestle Lanka, who was with us today. Thank you, Ms. Rovina. I express my deep sense of my gratitude to Mr. Suga Amarasena, Director, Career Guidance Unit, and Mrs. Chaturangani Thanakon, Career Advisor, Career Guidance Unit, Senior Treasurer, Career Skills Development Society, for lending them helping hand at all moments of we need. It was indeed a beautiful morning, also in a delighted frame of mind, hoping that all participants were able to gain a lot of additional knowledge to build your confidence. Again, thank you everyone who joined with us. Wishing you a great day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Take care.
Okay, so as a director of the Career Guidance Unit, I would like to extend my sincere gratitude. This is Navani Jaisinghe. She did the great speech to enhance our student skills. And also that I like to give my sincere gratitude for our career advisor, Chaturangani Technicon, and our computer assistant at Karindu also, and all of the rest of other our the Career Guidance Unit staff members. And finally, I'd like to give my thanks for our student as well. And in the future also, we are going to plan to do some that type of the programs to enhance student skill. Thank you, all of you.